Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Short Attention Span webinar. Today we're talking assumptions, Kelly Malazzi.
Hello, Bill.
Sales killing assumptions.
They're everywhere.
As I feel as though I preach this stuff, and I preaching and writing this stuff, I remember when I said these exact same things, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny, Here's the first one. Worst day of the week to make a sales call. Bar none, I get this answer every single time I ask it. What is it, Kelly? What do you think?
Oh my God, this makes me crazy.
Yeah.
Because there is no worst day of the week to make a sales call.
But what do they say?
People tell you
but what do they say?
Usually they'll say Mondays.
Right, or?
Fridays.
Right, and if you believe that, you've blown 40% of the work week.
Crazy.
Okay, but make the argument as if you were a customer. As if you're one of our customers. Kelly, why is Monday such a lousy day to make a sales call?
Well, people just got in from the weekend. Their email boxes are full. Their voicemail boxes are full. They don't want to hear from me. I'm just there bothering them.
Right.
And on Fridays, it's, the weekend's coming. They're probably thinking about going away, or they're not even there. It's just not even worth it.
Yeah,
Smack you in the face. I'm going to smack you.
Bothering them. I'm bothering them.
They don't want to hear from me.
Yeah.
Folks, please.
Yeah. So, now, when I'm at an audience, I'm giving a live seminar, I ask the owners and the managers in the room, what is the quietest phone day of the week? And they say, Friday. Every single time. Friday. Friday is a great day to make a sales call. It's amazing who you can get in touch with, especially on a Friday afternoon. Why?
Especially afternoons.
Sure. Why? Because your competition, they're making that exact same assumption. They're not making calls on Fridays because they believe it's a lousy day to make a sales call. So there's number one. Here's our second one. Kelly, summers are always slow. Always. Okay.
So not
Attack
true.
That one. Not true. Why?
It's just not true. I think this is very antiquated thinking. It may have been true in the 1960s or something that a lot of people went on vacation, but I don't know. I feel like there's no such thing as a season anymore. If I looked at the balance sheets of all of my customers, there would be no one month that is better than any other on a consistent basis. So, and believing this and embracing this is absolutely positively going to set you up to hit your, to affect your income. If you believe that it's slow.
You know why? Because people will say, so why bother?
Right.
Right? Summers are slow. They're always slow. So why bother? And that's the effect of the assumption. Why bother? Hey, it's July. Why bother? Now, you and I have said a million times, the summer slowdown is created by a lack of effort 3 to 6 months prior.
Yep.
Right? And we've also said we cannot argue with the fact that the days right around the 4th of July, the days right before Labor Day, the last week of August for Americans, those are quiet times for a lot of reasons. I can't argue with that. But the summer is always slow. To make that assumption, that is a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yep.
And that's something that you can also sell your way out of. Kelly, let me tell you something. I've got these clients. They're not going anywhere. My customers love me. Okay.
No, they don't.
What trouble am I going to get in with that one?
Well, again, it's all about complacency. You get lazy, you get comfortable, you forget that you have to continue to earn their business on a regular basis, and you one day get that breakup phone call, hey, we've gone with another vendor, we just signed a 3-year contract with ABC Company because they came in here and wooed us, and they asked us questions, and they brought us new ideas, and you're out.
Yeah. Yep.
Sad trombone, big sadness.
Wah, wah, wah.
Wah, wah.
But that's the thing. Once you hear yourself say, God, that account, they love me. Once you hear that internal voice congratulating you on what a great job you've done with that company, that is the first step in the last time you'll ever do business with them. Be very, very aware of that little voice talking to you about how much this company loves you. This has happened to me countless times. This is one of the lessons that I need to continually remind myself of. And I get to the point now, Kelly, where I say to myself, What do I need to do to stay relevant in this account? I assume the opposite. I assume I'm going to lose them. I assume that they don't know what I'm doing for them unless I tell them. So this is kind of a build-off on that. It's an assumption that the new customers especially, now that I've secured them, I can move on and I can go and find another prospect. What's the thinking of that new customer?
Right, it's that you gave them the bum's rush. Wow, it's like dating. They were all sweet and romantic and happy at the beginning, and now I've been pushed off on some CSR and some estimator, and I never hear from them again. And in fact, there are many companies out there that their structure is built this way, right? I mean, this is the way their philosophy works, is that they pass off the customers to a CSR team after they've been landed, and that there's no quicker way to get a person to feel like they've made a bad decision is in this case that you are no longer reachable, you're not engaged, you're not a part of the process anymore. So we need to stay present and stay involved and stay engaged with these customers in order to continue to earn their business so that you can say, number 3, my customers love me, and that's followed by because I am there, I ask questions, I bring new ideas, I'm engaged in the process, I'm results driven, and they credit me with the success of their direct mail campaigns. That's the kind of answer you want to give.
Sure, and that's one of the things, it's okay to say that, right? It's okay to say the customers love you. It's not a bad thing, but we want to keep them loving as well. So, and this is the other assumption. And this is kind of an internal voice. I hear this all the time. I am so busy, I don't have time to make new sales calls. And that is an assumption in there. One of the assumptions is probably multiple. I'm going to stay busy. This business is going to continue to build on its own. It's like we're lulling ourselves to sleep. Mm-hmm. That internal assumption, that internal statement that says we're telling ourselves a story that we are desperate to believe. I guess that's a basic definition of the word assumption.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say, Bill, is that it's a story. It really is a story that people tell themselves because, again, in this particular moment, they are so busy. They wait, they lift up their head and it's 6 o'clock and it's time to go home, and they're just, they're loving it, and that's a really great position to be in. But we should never, ever, ever make that assumption that is going to continue infinitely, because it won't.
Well, okay, so just real quickly, in the 60 seconds we've got left, how do we break this pattern? How do we get out of this role of assumptions?
Well, again, I think it's about questioning everything and just disbelieving all of this stuff. These are probably the biggest ones that because we've spent a lot of time articulating this stuff. So, and a lot of these stories were told to us by other people too, Bill. We didn't just make up that Fridays were bad days. Someone told us that sometime, and it became a very convenient thing to believe, so we believed it. Mm-hmm. So no longer believe these things. Just throw it all out.
But I think it's a difficult question to ask, what assumptions am I making? Because that's really the question to ask, but it's really hard to answer that question.
Well, because you don't really know until you can really, they almost have to be shown to you, I guess.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Or you have to kind of hear them in your head. Mm-hmm. We've given you a bunch of these things, and there's a lot more. But ask yourself that question: what assumptions am I making? Where's the danger? What's the worst that could happen? I could lose a customer. How am I going to lose the customer because I make the assumption? What assumption am I making? This is part of that being honest with yourself, so that and maybe this is in a conversation with somebody else, that they're challenging you. How are you going to grow your business? What makes you think that that's a true statement?
Right. Or, the other thing too is that if you don't have somebody to reflect on like that, then there is that little voice inside your head that's saying, maybe this isn't quite true. So listen, this is really about tapping into your inner instinct too, and saying, maybe I always believe Fridays were bad times, but why do I believe that? And maybe I shouldn't. And it's kind of that, turning everything that we believe on its ear and looking at it from the opposite side. Is that true? What if it weren't true? And then kind of take it from there.
All right. Well, listen, a lot of food for thought on this one. I think this is something you've got to really examine on your own. So, yep. Kelly, thanks. Great job. And thank you, everyone, for listening to this week's Short Attention Span webinar.
Thanks, Bill.